Ladies, this video is for you if you're interested in becoming the best, most evolved version of yourself, the most successful version of yourself. We're going to be talking about success habits. These practices are about to make you the CEO of your whole life, sis. Welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited about this video. If you are new here, welcome. I'm Sabine, and on this channel, we talk about how to have an abundant life with God at the center and how to take a hold of everything that He has for you. So if that interests you, join the family, hit the subscribe button. I want all of us to be setting ourselves up to live the life that we desire and the life that is God's absolute best for us. So all of these practices are in the realm of things, of practical techniques that will help you to develop the right kind of routine, to set yourself up for success, and to kind of just cover some of the fundamentals, basically laying the groundwork, because throughout the year, we're going to go deeper and build on some of these topics. So this is the introduction to some of these success habits, and we're going to really level it up throughout the year. The very first point that I'm going to bring up, most of my viewers who already follow me, y'all already know this, but we're going to say it for the benefit of those who are new to this channel or who are just stumbling across this video. And point number one, simply put, is that God is the plug. The number one thing that you can do for yourself to be happier, more successful, prosperous, at peace, blessed, is to either deepen your relationship with Him or to start one with Him if you don't have one. We're talking about doing things like spending time in prayer. We're talking about building a daily devotional routine where you read your Bible a few minutes a day every day, or whatever the case may be. You want to take wherever you're at in your relationship and go deeper with Him. When you are needing power, energy to charge up any device, what do? You plug it in. So just like that, we humans, we need to stay connected to our source to get our power to live the best life that we possibly can live. This is why I say He's the fundamental step for you pursuing success. I don't just mean worldly success like money. I'm talking about, like I said, your mental, your spiritual, your emotional health, the blessings that you desire for your family, as well as the prosperity and the things that you want to experience and do and achieve in this life. They're all connected back to Him and to your purpose. So you need to stay plugged in, you need to stay tapped in. There's a scripture that says, Jesus says, I have come that they may have life and that they may have it more abundantly. And I love that. That's part of the root of my channel. Why in the beginning I tell you guys that I'm about encouraging us to pursue God and to have an abundant life with Him, because He wants us to maximize our potential. So that is number one for your plan for staying on the trajectory for success, is to get or stay connected or deepen your relationship with Him, because God is the plug. And if you want to see proof, if you want to see receipts, go and check out my video that's called 3 Biblical Principles That Changed My Life. I'm not even gonna get into it. Just go and watch that video and you'll literally see how, as I've been aligning myself with Him, things for me have changed completely. And I couldn't have made this up myself. I couldn't have done it any better myself. So on this channel, we know that God is the plug, okay? So now we're gonna get into some of the more practical strategies for success that you can implement into your everyday life. Point number 2 is to plan ahead. Simply put, this is the point that you can implement that literally has the least barrier to entry, but yet has the greatest potential for reward and success. So let's talk a little bit about some of the ways that we can implement this planning ahead into so many different aspects and areas of life. First things first, there's simply just planning your schedule. Whether you are using your cell phone, whether you are using your physical planner, which is my personal preference, you just need to find a method that sticks to you and that you can be consistent with. Now, there's levels to this, but the very first, most basic thing that you should be doing is you should be planning tomorrow's day the night before. What are your top 3 things that you must accomplish in order for the day to be a success? What are your big 3? Write those down in your planner the night before, and then you can kind of jot down some of your errands, some of your other to-dos, and fill them in where they can fit in. But make sure that you're identifying what are your top 3 things that are gonna make tomorrow a success. Now, I told you there are levels to this. So better than planning just your the night before is if you sit down on Saturday or Sunday and you think about your whole week. So what are some things that need to happen this week that are going to help me move my life forward toward whatever goals that I have? You could maybe make a short list of those, and then as you're planning your night, each night you can pull individual tasks from that short list, and by the end of the week you've moved your life further toward your goals. So think about, how your life would be affected if you perhaps started planning some of your meals out, if you actually mapped out your fitness plan, like if you identified which days you're going to be doing what routines, if you started planning out your family time so you could be more intentional with, your family. This applies in so many different areas, and you're going to have to find what routines work best for you to plan the different areas. But just take this notion and commit to this year. You're going to, at the very least, start planning your night the night before, establishing your big three, and building on that so that you can put some more intentionality behind your goals that you've established for yourself. You need to document, actually write down or put into your phone some of those things that you're going to be doing, and not just let them stay in your head, but really be intentional. Moving along to point number 2, that is that I want you to write down your big goals and put them in a place where you can see them every single day. Now, this sounds so simple, but how many of us actually do this? In the Bible, Habakkuk 2:2, it says, write down the vision and inscribe it clearly on tablets so that one who reads it may run. Another translation says, write the vision and make it plain. Let's say you establish your goals for the year, for the quarter, which is phenomenal if you're doing that. That's awesome. If you have those goals written down somewhere where you are looking at them every single day, your fridge, your desk, your bedside table, you can't help but be moving yourself forward because they're going to always be at the top of your mind. This is really rather similar to when you see people making a vision board, which can be a great tool. I encourage you that if you are going to use that, you make sure that you're creating the vision board being led by God as far as the things you're putting on there, because they are powerful, they are effective. So you want to make sure that you're not creating your own vision, but being, like I said, led by God, led by the Holy Spirit to pick the right things to put on your vision board. Putting your big goals, establishing what are your biggest goals. Let's say you want to save for a house. Let's say 2025, 3 years from now, you want to have saved $50,000 to invest in your first home down payment. I'd put that, like I said, on my fridge, on my desk, or on my bedside table, maybe all three. You can then break those goals down into smaller things you need to be doing per quarter. And then when you have your weekly sit down sessions, like I said, you're thinking about how can you move these goals forward. So it's not just about the errand and the little minutia. You always will have these goals at the top of your mind. And the way that you do this is, like I said, by writing them down or declaring them on some type of vision document and placing it in a strategically placed location around your house where you're going to be coming into contact with that every single day. Number three, and that is to establish systems and routines. Do you have a system or routine around what you're doing? Because here's the thing, we're always doing stuff, but how much of this actually is rooted in any kind of systematic effort? You know how much time we could save and how much more effective we could be if we establish routines around certain things that we do every single week. We establish a system around how we're going to get certain stuff done. I'm not an expert in this area yet. I recently started watching a lot of videos on YouTube about this, and I'm just like, it's really revolutionizing my thinking as far as like, this might be one of the areas that this could be one of the reasons that I've been held back, or that I previously didn't really have the consciousness of really systematizing. Like I'd create little habits that I thought would be nice, but I never really structured it in such a way that I said this, and this are going to happen at this time or on this day of the week, and I'm going to repeat this pattern for X number of weeks to test the results. It kind of frees up some of the I guess you could call it decision fatigue, the clutter in your mind that you waste from having to make these little small decisions that you do repeatedly or that are going to need to get done. Utilize technology as well there's an app for everything, right? Utilize technology to focus your time, energy, and your effort in a way that minimizes the brain draw from you and frees you up to be able to do the things that you really need to be doing, like working on some of those big 3 goals. It sounds so simple, but it's like, how often do we establish these little plans, but we don't commit to it as a routine? We don't establish it as a system. We don't get buy-in from other people in our lives. Like I said, sometimes you're going to have to employ your husband, employ your best friend as an accountability buddy, employ a tutor, or employ a therapist to actually make progress on some of these goals. And the best way for you to do it is to establish it as a routine and to be consistent with it until it sticks. And it's something that you can really follow through with for the entirety of, say, the year. I recently started watching more videos about this on YouTube, and it just really has revolutionized my thinking. And I'm actually going to be creating a playlist for you guys because, like I said, I've been diving so deep into this content about leveling up my life and about just pushing myself to be the best that I can be in 2020. So I'm collecting some of these videos, and you're going to see that I created a playlist for you below where you can see some of the best of what I've been watching and what's been inspiring me. So one of them is specifically about routines and systems, and that one is a must watch. The channel is Whitney Hedrick, and she really has some good content there. If this video is resonating with you guys, I would love if you could leave a comment about which one of these points affects you the most, or if you could hit the thumbs up button. It really helps me in the algorithm to reach more new people. So thanks a lot. Point number 4, get on top of your finances. Not playing with this one, sis. You are an accountant and you didn't even know it yet. You are your own financial advisor and you didn't even know it yet. I believe this for you, and I believe it for me. I understand that everybody watching this is going to be at their own point in their own financial journey, right? But the point is, how are we all going to advance ourselves from where we are? How are we going to get to being this accountant, this money manager? Basically, the simple version of this is the more you know, the more you grow. Financial education is one of those things where it's public information, it's relatively available information, yet it feels somewhat mysterious, it feels elusive. And I know that I really honestly felt that way up until pretty much now, when I've been getting really into this and learning so much so quickly. There's so much available, and that's another reason why, like I said, I created the playlist, because I'm going to be adding for you guys like some of these things that have like blown my mind, that this is like free information on the internet about finances. The more you know, the more you grow. Everyone's situation is going to be different, but don't be like me and kind of like put it off because you feel like it's far away. Start watching like little videos about the basics of investing, or maybe you're at a point where you're just attacking your debt and you need to learn some fundamentals about budgeting, about techniques to get out of debt, things like that. Start where you are. Look up for some things that are, in your realm, and start from there. Personally, I'm at the point where I'm starting to level up a little bit. So I'm kind of getting a hold on eliminating my debt, and I'm working on learning things about investing. I'm learning things about passive income. How can I build passive income streams so I don't have to work hard for my entire life? Building up my channels, like for example, YouTube or other ways that we can use media to generate revenue. I love Poshmark, the app Poshmark, and I have like an amazing boutique on that store, and it's something that I started years ago, but I've been slowly building it up. Point is, go on this free World Wide Web, find you some YouTubers, find yourself some articles, get into it. Find some books, like hard copy books. I have some here that I'm actually saving for our next point, but like find some books, read some books about how people are getting into stuff. Also talk to people around you, especially people that you could see as like mentors in this area, or just friends who you even think are doing well. Not all of us come from, a background where our family members have taught us this, and we definitely didn't learn it in school. So talk to people. Don't be scared to have the conversations, because a closed mouth does not get fed. You are the CEO of your life. Matter of fact, you're the CFO, you're the chief financial officer. You're going to plan ahead, you're going to learn, and you're going to start applying these things to get you closer to the financial vision that you have for your life. The fifth and final point that we're going to talk about today is to simply read and learn. As you start getting more into the woman that you want to become, and you start getting clear about the vision for your life, you're going to realize the areas that you need to learn more in. You're going to realize the areas that you have a deficit in, and you're going to start to seek out information and knowledge to fill those voids and to develop you in those areas that you want to grow in. Easiest way to do this by far is to simply read a book, right? Like this is one that I always want to do, but this year I've actually started, finding myself reading 10 minutes, maybe not every day, but like every other day. And right now I'm reading this one, Woman Evolve. This one is so good, especially about, it says break up your fears and revolutionize your life. It's so empowering. I love it. But I also have other ones. I have ones in so many different areas. I have this one about relationships. It's called Prepare for Your Future Husband. I have this one about finances, Everyday Millionaire. These are all on my reading list. I haven't gotten into these yet. This one is Queenology. It's more of a self-development mindset shift kind of book. And then Purpose Awakening, to encourage me to continue, pursuing my creative gifts and the things that God has had on my heart. So you see how I have resources about everything, and these are just my books, right? I'm constantly watching YouTube. I'm constantly looking at articles and looking for information about the topics that I want to develop myself in. So this is basically free. Maybe you invest a little bit into the books, and I do encourage you to invest. Like for example, if you see a course, if you see something that you think is gonna help you, that you need, Don't be scared to invest in yourself. This is one of the main things that also separates people who end up making it towards success and fulfilling certain goals that they have, is that they're not scared to invest, whether it's time, whether it's money, into their own personal development, and they feel unapologetic about it because you're your own best asset. You need to invest in yourself fully. And don't use the excuse that you don't have time, because if you want to know something, honestly, I don't spend every night watching Hulu, watching Netflix, watching Amazon Prime. I don't. I just simply do not have time to be doing that for the stage that I'm in my life and where I see myself wanting to go. There's a time for that. There's a place for that. I'm not saying that we can never do those things, but it's not an everyday routine part of my life. That's not what I do when I finish work. I try to, like I said, move myself closer toward something on that goal list that I have to do, whether that's creating, whether that's learning, whether that's watching other types of content that are going to be benefiting me in some of these areas that I'm working on. Don't make excuses. Don't say that you don't have enough time, because you do if you cut out some of these other things that you're doing that are not a priority. Don't say that you don't have enough money, because there's something that still exists. It's called a library. You can go there and all of these books and all the different kind of books you're interested in, you don't have to buy all of them. You can go get them from the library. Lots of free resources on YouTube. You can even actually get a lot of like ebooks and digital things from most libraries nowadays just by logging in. So don't let any of these things be an excuse for you. You need to, like I said, be the CEO. You're in the driver's seat of the direction of your life. And these are just some habits that I think are fundamental. Like I said, these are the basic building blocks. If you are interested in advancing yourself forward, you need to be doing a little bit of each of these things at all times. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that it blessed you and that you found it really to be some practical advice. We're going to be building up on this. I also want you to know that later on this year, I'm going to be developing somewhat of a leveling up handbook. So we're going to be, like I said, talking about some of these topics, and I'm going to be creating a guidebook that can kind of help you walk through some of the steps of these different areas. So look out for that later. In the meantime, I also want to encourage you to join me on social media. I share more of like my day-to-day life tips, everyday life strategies. Below, you'll also find a link to our community, which we are starting on Facebook. So this is more so for you guys to be able to talk to one another and for us to be a resource for each other. So definitely look for that. I so appreciate you guys tuning in. Right now, I am just a few subscribers short from 100 subscribers, which would be a big milestone for me. I'm so grateful for all of you guys for watching and encouraging me with your comments. And I hope that you can actually share one of my videos with somebody that you know, so that will help me to get some more new people to join me, and I can reach that 100 mark. I really appreciate you guys. I'm going to link the video that I mentioned earlier, which is 3 biblical principles that changed my life. And YouTube is also going to suggest for you one that they think you would love. So I hope that you stick around, you subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and I will catch up with you soon.